I'm Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
And this is another episode of SEO is Dead and Other Lies. Ryan, how are you doing on this beautiful Saturday afternoon?
It's great. This is a doubleheader, my friend.
Woo! That's right. So
we've done that before.
If you listen to us, we've done doubleheaders a few times, actually.
It's just been a minute.
Yeah, so we're glad you guys are tuning in. We have a really great topic to cover today.
So you said the last one.
Close to our hearts because it kind of covers our story a little bit. Not our podcasting story, but our personal stories as to how we got into SEO.
Yeah.
But a lot of people ask us, they say, SEOs didn't other lies, guys. How do I start doing SEO consulting or freelancing? So we're going to talk to you about how to get into SEO freelancing, how to maybe make a living from it, quit your actual job, just go into SEO.
We're going to cover a lot. We're going to be bouncing around. You better have a notepad ready.
We are going into Alex Becker territory right here.
Oh, baby. Yeah, and indeed, SEO is not dead. So the market
it's alive and well.
SEOs is great. Just don't try to reach out to any of my clients. And just don't try to take Paul's job, and everything will be fine.
Down. I'll find you.
Yeah. I know that you think that you've got a huge arsenal of weapons now that you've listened to all 29 of our podcasts, and you're ready to get out there and do it. But the first things first, take a step back and truly assess, are you good enough to do SEO as a consultant right now? What would be some indicators if that you are at that level and you feel like you could really take the responsibility and you really ethically can take over someone's SEO right now? Have you ranked anything before? Listen to me. Have you ever ranked anyone?
SEO?
So
usually the people that find themselves in this situation are people who have been an in-house SEO for whatever amount of years. Maybe it's 3 or 4 or 5 years. And you're just really tired of dealing with the corporate structure. And you'd like to utilize your skills and get a little more credit for your skills and a little more money, maybe a lot more money.
Potentially. And then, or you just want to schedule. You don't want to report to banking HR because you wore a hat today at work. You don't want to talk to Greg at the water cooler about Game of Thrones.
Or you're just really tired of explaining things to people higher up in your company that don't understand them, but they're there because they're older than you and they've been in the workforce longer.
There you go.
And that's just how it works sometimes, I guess, in America. But let's say, another thing that I see a lot of people that want to learn SEO, they already are doing freelance stuff, but they're maybe doing it on the design side, or they're doing it on the development side, and they get clients that are always like, well, can you do SEO stuff too, right? So this isn't necessarily for you. This is like, I want to do just SEO.
Yeah.
I don't care about you. Well, no, that's not true. I do.
No, you love everybody.
But this
whatever.
is like, if you wanted to supplement your income full-time doing SEO, not just like as an added-on perk. Obviously, you can listen to our podcast, and I hope that you learn enough stuff for that you can do that as well. But this is like, hey, I want to just do this full-time. So we're going to walk you through kind of how to get started.
So you've been doing SEO for a bit. You haven't been doing it for 6 months. Like, I don't care how much you've been doing it. Just like, don't do that. Don't go out.
Yeah.
You haven't been doing it 12 months. You've probably been doing it for a few years. You've been in charge of successful projects. You've ranked some difficult keywords. You've gotten some content to get thousands of views. You've done something.
You understand how content works, how link building works, how internal link structures are important, siloing. You understand the technical side of it. You're an SEO, by God.
And also, you like talking to people because if you're a consultant, you're going to be doing the selling yourself.
You can explain these concepts.
And if you poop your pants or piss yourself because you're nervous to talking to people, this is probably not good for you.
If you don't have any of the people skills, as they say, it's gonna be difficult.
You're not going to be selling your services. You're going to be selling yourself. And when you're doing that, you have to be super confident. And you have to be confident yourself.
Bagpipes outside or something.
It's just people just laying down the horns for some reason.
It's celebration. Their horn. You think you would be able to hear that on the 22nd floor?
Confident, able to talk about yourself. Just own it. You're the expert. And if you did that, you got all this, cool. So what do you do next? It could be a million steps, but I'm going to tell you what it is. You have to decide what your thing is going to be. So can you do SEO for Fortune 500 company? Can you do it for a mom and pop down the street? Is it what is the industry? What's the geography? You got
just like in life. The more niche that you are, usually the more successful that you are.
Yeah,
it's very rare that you find jack of all trades that are wealthy in any particular thing.
I would say at this point, with the staggering amount of SEOs that are out there that claiming they know what they're doing when they don't, it's good to kind of hone in on your thing. So we're talking about specifics. We're not talking about like, every business in Florida. We're not talking about, I'm going to do social SEO paid for like 5 industries. You're talking about like, I'm going to do SEO for chiropractor practices with a net income of $500,000 to $1 million.
That would be my very first advice to you: is pick a niche that you can only really cover and work on and dominate and know everything about, because you're going to be able to translate the success that you had in it to more of it in that, and like the knowledge that you've earned and like all the learning, you're going to be able to like pass that on, right? So especially when it comes to like link building and like content and like just knowing the industry, you're going to be able to have like educated, useful conversations with potential clients. Like if you know like the other big players, like the other big affiliate sites in there that drive leads, like when we walk into like a legal, like pitch, and we know what fine law is, we know how much lawyers hate dealing with it because we've been there. It helps you out a lot, because it means like their space. No one wants to like give you money if you don't know the space.
Well, the thing is you're going to get your first questions, right? When you start working with someone, they're going to say, "Have you worked with this project, or have you worked in this industry before?" And unless you're a freaking liar, which line, there's a difference between embellishment and there's lying. You're going to be lying. You never lie. It's going to haunt you. So if someone says, "Hey, have you worked in this before?" and you're going to say no, then you're not going to go anywhere.
I know what you might be asking yourself right here. How do I get people to give me experience if I don't have any experience, right?
Probably.
I got a solution for you. It's going to help
you have a solution.
You out here.
I have a solution.
Ooh.
This is such a great topic because
I can talk all day about it.
Like, I'm going to unplug you, and I'm just going to talk because I want to talk.
I'm going to let you.
No, you go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So, if you're new to a particular industry, and we'll just use the chiropractor as one, right? So you're like, I don't have any chiropractic clients. I don't know any people who are looking for chiropractic services and like SEO. Where do I start, right? So what I would do is I would carve out another little niche here, and let's say it's link building, right? Because you're always going to find an SEO that needs some links built.
A lot of SEOs don't know how to do links, and then even if you listen to this podcast up to now, you probably still don't have a huge grasp on link building because it's just one of those things.
But let's say, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to something like Upwork or any of the multitude of websites where you can outsource things that we've talked about on many, many episodes. So Legit, Conquer, any of those things. And you're going to provide a service of link building, just that niche though. You're going to say, if you're looking for, link building done in the chiropractic niche, X amount of, guest posting only, do something like that. So you have to help out. You got to build like a base of something like that you can translate to doing SEO in that niche. So, do that, slowly kind of build up some relationships, say that you've produced content for it, you've helped rank websites for it, and then you're going to be able to like translate that into actually having a sit with a client in that space. And you're also going to start to learn more about that space as you're doing it. So carve out something really niche related and help out another SEO that's in the space first, and then you can easily translate that to like your own experience.
I mean, I wouldn't really recommend just picking a niche at random. I mean, typically it's going to be from your past experience already. So when you worked in-house, whatever you were doing beforehand, it hopefully maybe aligns there so you have a head start. So you can be like, I worked in the industry already for 3 years.
That would be ideal. Like
that would be ideal.
If you, now some of those things like that's not necessarily realistic, because like sometimes it's like a really, really big, like I did education marketing, and it would have been really, really difficult to get a college as a client, on my own as like a first one. It would just be difficult.
I mean, yeah, I actually know some people that go after colleges, and what they have to do is heavy duty stuff. We're talking about teams, not necessarily consulting.
Yeah, it's not like this isn't a one person type thing that you could start.
And also, I think one thing we should preface is that when you're a consultant, you're freelancing, you're typically going to be covering certain components or kind of smaller businesses. Typically, bigger companies are going to look at you and be like, so who's your support team? Who's your project manager, account manager, others? It's the difference. Like, your expectations have to be not lower, just different when you're doing consulting. Like, you're not going to be able to take over a whole thing.
Well, we're not even saying you're a consultant at this point, but you might be a consultant, or you might be trying to take on
we're just talking about
client.
You're trying to just do stuff on your own right now.
Yeah.
Typically you're going to take over a component. You're either going to do like content, you're going to be doing like on-site, you're going to be doing link building. It's going to be hard to go to like a pretty established company that knows marketing and be like, hey, I'm going to do everything, because they're going to be like, who do I need if there's a problem with the account? Me. Who do I need for reporting? Me. Who are you going to do for content? Me. It's just like, hey, let's be real. Like, we don't want to just work with one person.
But let's say you don't have experience in the niche that you want, right? Let's say you want to break into like legal or whatever other thing that you want to do.
Don't do legal.
Don't do it. Don't do that. But I mean, I would also go to any of those message boards. You can go to like the SEO Reddit and just be like, hey, I'm interested in like learning more about this niche. Does anyone work in it? And then can I help you with it for free? And then you can get build some experience that way and kind of like put your name on some of those projects, and that's an easier pitch, and you can show that you've worked in that.
And there's a lot of industries out there that even to this day just don't get bombarded by marketing people.
Sure.
So an example is the photo booth industry.
Oh yeah.
The only people that reach out to like photo booths are Yelp, and then maybe like the Knot. You'll never, or like the Wedding Wire or whatever. You'll never have individual like agencies be like, hey, we can do your marketing. They'll be like, I don't even know. I've never even been solicited in my life.
Yeah.
So there are industries out there still to this day that like are pretty good that just aren't used to getting solicited.
Yeah.
And that would not be a bad industry.
Those are, I mean, you're going to have to explain a little bit more how everything works, but that's fine too. And the budgets are going to be much smaller. So.
Yeah, but then it's just you and you have no overhead.
Okay.
So it's all good.
All right. So what are your suggestions for breaking in to an industry?
Oh my goodness. So we just went so far ahead, I don't even remember what I was thinking in the first place.
Yeah.
So breaking into an industry, I mean, where to even start. So like, let's say you picked your industry and you're like, all right, I'm going to do, let's say on-page optimization and content for people's websites. And I picked this industry. How do you break into it? I mean, what's going to happen first is, to get some notoriety and get like a little bit of like the word of mouth, a little bit of experience going, I do recommend, and I know it sounds like kind of drab, but a lot of people start with their friends and family. Like through your friends and family or your network or people or former colleagues, there's always opportunities to do some things.
And I think this is a problem that almost every experienced SEO has, is that you are usually asked to do SEO work for friends and family at some point.
I mean,
you definitely are.
For next to nothing.
For nothing or next to... Yeah, it definitely happens pretty regularly. And if you're pretty good at SEO, it's not necessarily super difficult to get clients on your own, just because word of mouth and things like that happen.
I mean, that's kind of how it all starts. It kind of snowballs. So what happens is, when you're working on someone's website, and like, let's say, I don't want to talk about design work, but let's say you're doing SEO, and then you're working on it, and then the bottom of the website says, SEO by so-and-so, and of course you're building the online portfolio. At least you have a landing page or some website where you're trying to establish yourself as a leader, what you do. I mean, people will like, if you crush it for friends or family, and they're ranked number one, right? And then someone goes to the website, and they're like, who's working on this website? And it says SEO by this person. You can get organic reach out that way. Be like, dude, you rank this person number one. What can you do for me? And another thing is, I mean, it goes back to being personable and having to be able to talk to people. You got to get out there. You have to promote the crap out of yourself. I mean, you're going to have to do networking. You're going to have to get in your community.
Yeah.
You're going to reach out to people maybe in like LinkedIn. I mean, it's a lot of self-promotion because you're the person.
So I would say develop some sort of... If you don't have some experience in that niche, I would say develop some before you get into the next parts that we're going to cover, and that's like how to find clients a little bit easier, a little more to scale. But again, if you're not setting yourself up for success when you pitch a client and you don't have something to show them, I would do that first before we move on to how to get clients.
This is when it's going to start getting real crazy, because it's like we're going to talk about like how to
we're going to talk about
promote yourself, how to pitch, how to actually work on their account, how to show value,
where to live to make the most out of the US dollars that you get. Maybe we even cover some of that.
Then you just go to Thailand or you go to freaking Zimbabwe.
All right, so let's say you got experience. Now we're skipping ahead to like, hey, I can do this. I have examples to show. I need to get clients.
Yeah.
So where are you going to go first?
So you probably have like your some sort of resume, some sort of like case studies, some sort of breakdown about like why you're an expert or why you're
something
qualified
that would make someone believe you and give you money.
Maybe it's like a PDF or something you order on Fiverr. Maybe you have a landing page or a website that has like a little bit about you. People read about us and they want to relate to you. So you have a little bit of content.
Depending on if you want to just be a consultant in this industry or you want to sell actually these services, whatever it is, right? But you got into that. So how do you get them? Well, you're going to want to have a website and you're going to want it to be optimized for one, because like that's kind of where you start. Even though most of the time you're going to work with clients that have no idea what any of the optimizations are. So it's not like they're going to like look through your work. You just want to have the ability to like have someone contact you, know what you're offering, know what you're selling, know who you are, have some value propositions in there of like, you know, your services, and, you know, have a form that actually works and a phone number that works.
You'd be surprised how many forms don't work.
You'd be amazed.
You want to test your own website. You want to hire someone, an expert, to test your website and audit your website and actually do your on-site. No, I'm joking. But you start blogging, you start establishing content on your website for both the prospect and inbound, and then you start developing pages so anyone that's going to research you or anyone that you meet out to dinner or out at a bar or out at a soiree or a wedding or your parents' clubhouse or at a networking event, when they look at your business card, they actually go to your website. It's like, cool, this information looks good. The about us is nice. It's not like some tacky about us. It's actually like about you, who you're about, why you're like a good fit, you know, humanize yourself, but also be as a professional. And then, Paul,
I was just letting you roll, buddy.
Yeah, you're like on a roll, right?
You're just having such a good time there.
Yeah.
All right. So
I was on a stride and I was like, where's this end?
So one, have a website, but now here's some channels that you can go after to find some actual leads. Sign up for an account on Upwork that you're providing a service. Be really clear and specific that what your niche is. I would set up different things, like a different thing for like link building, a different thing for like SEO.
Yeah, you want it to be niche. You don't want to be the jack of all trades.
Start niche. Just niche in general is like think about the people that get interviewed on like the news, right? They're always experts in their field. Be a subject matter expert on that particular niche. That's really what you want to do. And then also spend a little time maybe like getting some PR about yourself out there about it. And, you know, if there's blogs that like cover that particular thing, or you can write, you know, for like an SEO blog talking about that particular subject, and you have examples of sites that are in that niche, like go for it. I would definitely do it. Or put together like a resource, maybe like the best citations for like that particular niche that you would want to go after, right? Provide something free that you can give out that shows that you're an expert on it before you really get started. So that helps out too. But signing up for, you know, an Upwork account, and then you'll probably get some clients just from that. You
can apply to proposals. It could be like the last podcast you probably listened to, where you're not going to start up as anything. You're going to have 0 reviews. You're going to have 0 projects. You can maybe get like friends and family. Upwork is probably would hate, you know, us suggesting this, but have a friend or family go in and have you do little things. Hopefully they're real things, and then you get a bunch of 5-star reviews. If you have a bunch of 5-star reviews, you'll actually have people that start inviting you. And I think that you should probably have an end goal of how much you want to make per hour.
Yeah.
So like, let's say you want to make $100 per hour consulting.
Yeah, and if I would audit some competitors and see how much they charge before you do this too, so you have an idea like what the going rate. I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to get that information without like pretending that you're a client.
Well, Upwork's pretty transparent, but like besides that,
for that, it's going to be, you're never really going to go to like a website and they're going to have like any good agency is going to tell you up front how much they're going to charge.
Well, they don't. Most of them don't charge per hour anyway. Consultants are almost always going to. Consultants very hour oriented, I think.
They are. So
unless
if you're doing that, you're not going to charge by the hour. If you're following an agency type model, you're going to do like monthly. You know, there's going to be like maybe a 3 to 6 month contract, probably a 6 month. It's pretty rare to sign a year-long contract.
Unless it gets you good. Unless you get those real silver-tongued sales guys.
But so we're gonna cover a little bit too how to really cheaply get some leads, and this is also why you need to be niche. So there's always like Facebook groups for people in these niches. So it could be just dentist marketing, right? There's LinkedIn groups, just dentist marketing. And you can really easily target those people in those groups with ads. So whether it's like Facebook, maybe your ad isn't actually selling your service. It's like you're giving something free. It's like the top 20 free citations. And then they're going to like a landing page on your website and they're getting more information, and then you can pitch them later on, right? But or you just start posting in there, giving out free information, answering people's questions, being helpful. That's the cheap and free way to do it. And you're going to grow trust from that. And eventually, you're probably going to get some leads just off that, or it's going to work out for you if you just kind of do it that way.
I mean, really, like one good thing about being a consultant is that no matter what, like in any industry, whether it's high end or it's low end, doesn't matter. There are going to be people that just always go with the cheapest option.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter, like if it's better or worse, whatever. They're just going to be like, this guy is $300 a month, perfect. And it does, and that's where consultants really like can step in and start making a name, because you're not going to have any overhead. You're not going to have that many expenses besides maybe some tools and some things that you outsource. And then you're going to be up against an agency that's charging $1,200 a month, probably appropriately, would probably do a great job. And then you're going to come in and be like, I'll do it for $300. And then they're like, boom, there you go. And like, so that's one advantage of the consultant. So you're going to have wins that way.
So find like, keep in mind the if you want to start off I would suggest you're gonna have to kind of start on the lower end of
you just
pricing
will. Yeah,
until you grow your portfolio.
Unless you're just like, I've been doing this for 25 years.
Yeah,
I've been the CMO of like the huge company or something.
So yeah, you can do that, and then I would suggest going to like message board specific websites that talk about like those people just go to, and see if like they pose any questions that are marketing related and just answer them, and then just build those relationships. And then if you can get it into like a budget, you're gonna pay for it, but go to like conferences for these professionals. Those are always valuable. You'll probably sign up at least like one client if you just go and you're personable.
Just get them drunk and have them sign something they don't know what it is.
Yeah, you go to the mixers and stuff, and like you'll find something from it.
Yeah.
So that's how you're really getting started. Now, if you want to do just link building, there's a different model you can follow for sure.
Okay.
Like if you want to just provide links, that's it. And so a lot of SEOs do this. They pretty much just use Black Hat World, whatever. Maybe they have their own website.
Flipping packages, basically.
Selling packages, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like, I wouldn't even really say you're doing SEO at this point. You're just providing links.
You're just flipping.
But a lot of people live in like Thailand or whatever, and they'll sell packages between $100 to $500 for the link packages. So like, you might get 15 to 20 links for the $100 package. You might get 50 or like whatever it is. You'll have to, you can look at examples of it on like Black Hat World. But if anyone that does that on there, you can look after page after page after page of like confirmations of orders on that. Like I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds of confirmations, and they just live in like more of a third world country like Thailand or whatever. They get paid in US dollars. They have very, very comfortable lives just doing that. But you have to set up a very, very large like link network of PBNs where you're just constantly finding new domains, adding them, having the content written very, very cheaply from people in those countries and published, and providing like link building reports. And that's all they do. They do it all day. They outsource all that work for very, very cheap. So they take the vast majority of the profits coming from it, and they just kind of live like kings, I suppose, in Thailand or whatever country that they're in.
Yeah, I think, you want to kind of hone in on your offerings, because you don't want to do this and realize you're not making any money. So like, for example, let's go back to that example where you find a dentist and they're going to just go with whoever's the cheapest because they don't see value as being as important, which is not typically a good fit. But agency over here is $1,200 a month, and then you're like, I can do it for $400 because you just want to get this client. And then what you're promising is links, and then reporting, and then content, and then on-site. So what happens, if you're doing it like $400 a month, if you're doing content, let's say you're doing 4 or 5 pieces of content a month, I don't know how many you would do. By the time you outsource that, that's $50, and then you do links, that's $50, and then you have reporting software, and then that's $50, and then before you know it, you're spending like 6 hours on it, and then you're like, crap, I'm making like $15 an hour, which is maybe not exactly what you had in mind, when you were consulting. So you got to be kind of careful about what you're offering comparison to like what you're going to charge. Like, it's like a balance. You want to make sure that you're on the cheap
make
side, so
money.
you're appealing, but you also want to make sure that you keep your offerings tight, so you're not just doing too many things and losing money.
Yeah.
So that's like the more specific it is, probably the better.
It's sort of like the story of KFC. They used to offer a ton of stuff, and then when they took over, when he started to franchise it, he's like, hey, you can only sell chicken.
What else did they have?
They had all burgers. They had all this stuff on the menu back in the day.
I want a chicken
when
fried
it first
burger.
started.
Kentucky Fried Burgers, baby.
So you got to consolidate into like what you're really, really good at, and then just sort of do that, and not, don't try and do like Facebook advertising on top of everything else.
And another thing, if you're gonna
focus on,
you're gonna go to people and you're gonna say, I do SEO, and they're like, that's great. Can you do like organic ads too? And then the more that you offer that you don't feel confident in, the more susceptible you're just losing the account or losing focus. So my agency kind of like had that issue where it's like,
I think everyone goes through that at some point because you want to be able to offer things as an add-on,
because it's like a shiny object, like I can get $1,000 for this real quick,
but then you're going to spend a lot of money, you're not going to get a lot of results, and it's just going to take away from your profits, honestly. Like
so when you're starting off, you might really just want to do SEO, and then you talk to someone and say, hey, but I really want to do Facebook more, and I have X for that, and it might sound appealing, but I think in the long run it's better just not to get used to doing that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Any other, let's see, we've covered quite a bit actually.
Did we? We're only 26 minutes in.
Man, what else do you want to cover?
I thought we were going to talk about this for 4 hours.
God, I mean, we could.
Well, so you're a consultant, you're blogging continuously, right? You're establishing yourself as an industry or thought leader. Mm-hmm. You're going to networking events. You're doing some stuff for friends, family. Hopefully it's painting out and they're referring you more things. You're on Upwork. You're building up your profile. You're charging $15 an hour, then $20, then $25 an hour doing stuff.
So Ryan, let's say, how do you get people to think that you're an expert in your field, though?
Well, you start a podcast.
Maybe we talk a little bit about the Forbes thing that you did. The
author. So you can, the Forbes, I had to apply for it, even though it's like,
I mean, you had to pay money for it.
You had to pay money for that actually costs kind of a bit.
Well, yeah, but if you can point to that you were in Forbes, that's very
doing like a couple
useful.
Guest blogs, paying for like a Forbes or like an Inc. or something in your niche, like a guest post.
That can go a long way.
That goes a long way because then you were legitimately put on your website or a portfolio as featured in. It's going to go in the footer of every email that you do, and it's going to be showcased in probably proposals, and it's not BS, really fluff. It's pretty legit.
So if you wanted to do that, why don't you walk them a little bit through like that process?
Well, something like the Forbes Agency Council,
mm-hmm.
I had to apply for it, but then they had some sort of criteria. Mm-hmm. It was like your revenue has to be like X and you have to have X amount of clients, something. I don't remember exactly what it was because it was over a year ago. So some of them are going to require an application process, but some you're just going to pay someone that's going to kind of broker it through their own account.
Yeah.
And do you remember where you can kind of go if you want to shell out like $500 and might be some of the best.
There's a lot of places that
you spend
that can do this for you. Like if you want to be on the Huffington Post, you can probably spend about $500.
Is it $5?
Yeah, it just depends. If you want to be in like business or community, if you want to be, those are about $200 to $300 for a post. Inc. is going to be more expensive. Forbes can be as much as like $2,000. That's a little different than the process that you use because you applied for it.
It's different. Yeah, it was like agency council. It costs like. It's closer to $600 or $700.
Yeah,
it's gonna cost money.
But I would definitely look into doing that because if you know what you're talking about, you want to get that out there. You want to promote yourself.
Yeah,
the real key is promoting yourself. Like you got to be like the mouthpiece for you. Like you got to be shouting it from like the rooftops that you're an expert, not obnoxiously, but like taking advantage of any opportunity that you can.
Well, people want to be like excited about like working with you. They don't want to look at you as just like some random person that's just like going to do their stuff, and it may work, it may not. You're going to be just like every other person that happened in the past, where you don't really know what happened.
People want to like outsource to the guy that's like the expert that has the TED Talk.
You want to be kind of like the rock star. They want to be excited to work with you.
That's why they call it SEO rock stars. Like you always see that.
Do you? Do I?
Do you want to be an SEO rock star? That's what I'm looking to hire. Like think about it like that. Maybe you want to be an SEO rock star.
Yeah, we want people to be like, I read your article, I listened to your podcast, I saw your video, I saw your guest post, and I agree that's like really cool
This
stuff.
is one of the rare marketing niches where there's actually celebrities in it. And there's not a lot. There's not a lot of business
there's
niches
me,
at all.
There's you, there's Becker, there's...
Well, I mean, who's Rand Fishkin? Anyone that's an SEO knows who Rand Fishkin is.
He's kind of dropped off the radar, does he?
Well,
he doesn't work for Moz anymore, does he? He stepped down.
He started like a new thing, right?
I haven't seen him anywhere.
What's Seer Interactive?
Is that what it is?
No, but the agency Seer that has so it's like there are agencies that are just well known in this, regardless of like the niche that they're in. There's really like well known niche agencies that you only know about, like Scorpion Designs, I only know about that because I worked in like legal for so long, but
because they produced some of the best websites for legal.
But Will Reynolds, is a really well known.
I can't really tell you what his philosophy is on crap though.
He's more of like a business person, entrepreneur now than he is anything else. He knows a ton about SEO, but like his thing is like management now, like how to be like a good manager. And
is he gonna be on the podcast?
Business.
Hey, Will, you listening? Do you want to be on?
We should ask him. Yeah, but and there's just back in the day, like Matt Cutts was like the ultimate like SEO like celebrity, faux celebrity.
He's just like the ultimate regurgitator, though. You don't think he had like many original thoughts? But
there when you go to the conferences and you see like a lot of the more well known people that speak at them regularly. So, and I don't think paid search doesn't have like celebrities like that. Facebook advertising doesn't have celebrities like that.
Oh, don't forget Michael Blumenthal for local.
Yeah, he's a well-known SEO celebrity. It's just how it works.
I'd say let me impart one more thing, and then we'll wrap it up for now, and then we'll decide if we want to do another part of this. But another thing you have to do, which is kind of important, and I'm not sure always how you do this. You might have to like think outside the box or be maybe more clever about it. But to relate to people in your niche, you not only let's say it's a chiropractor, right? And not only are you relating to them in a way where it's like you want to know how do I rephrase this? Let me take a step back. They want to know that you
God, good thing this is know an audio format.
Huh?
Good thing this is an audio format.
It is audio. Why? Because what am I doing?
Because you're just like, all right, hold on. Let me rethink how I'm going to say this.
Because I'm just like flustered and going freaking all over the place. But they want to also know that you understand what they do too. So that means some industries won't really believe in you and that you can help them unless you understand how their business works too, or what they do or what they've done to establish their business.
So pain points is really important.
So it's like a chiropractor, you can go to them and say, I'm going to get you more leads, and they're like, great, that's how business works. But then it's like, don't you hate after their $69 initial examination that they never like come back afterwards, and then they had such a good rapport.
Yeah, I do hate that.
You know, you found like something wrong with this nerve or their plantar fasciitis, whatever it's called, and then you know they were so thankful, and then you call back for like follow up, and then they never respond. It's like, what can I do? What can we implement like systems?
We're gonna break down on these follow. Like
you want to be able to like relate to their pain points like that, you know?
Yeah. So, and everything's going to be a little different, but also the same at the same time. Like, people just, follow-ups are always, like, an annoyance in any industry, right?
Yeah.
But if you can kind of speak to, like, what Ryan was just saying, like they know, like, that's like, their biggest issue. It's, like, it cost me money to, like, do this. I didn't make a lot of money on it. And like I make money on like the second time they come back, right? So like, what do we do to help increase that?
So I mean, that's like when you get interesting within your niche and you start breaking down other opportunities. So maybe you're not going to always be like the digital marketing person that's doing like a bunch of on-site and content links, all this. You're going to help them like implement systems that also expand their business. So you're going to be like, hey, listen, what if I told you that not only am I an expert in finding the ideal client that walked through the door, but I also have a system that has a 50% chance of bringing that person back the second time.
Ooh,
that's when
I'm listening.
That's when you start doing next level stuff.
Yeah. So that's just good to be aware of.
Yeah, or just lie.
Yeah, just lie.
What happens? I told you that'll get you 1,000 leads a month, and then they have a 100% chance of coming back for the next 3 years.
As long as you sell them well.
Yeah, and it's only $200 a month.
That's it. Well, sign me up, Ryan.
That would be very cool. All right. Cool topic. Hopefully it wasn't too scatterbrained.
No, yeah. So, and if you guys have any questions you want us to answer specifically about this, or hey, maybe you're even interested in being on the podcast, we'd love to hear from you guys.
I would love to talk to SEO entrepreneurs that are doing very interesting, unique things.
Yeah, I'd love to hear you guys' story and see if it's similar to kind of our story.
If there's one thing that if I could go back, because my agency, we're working on tightening up what we're doing, less industries, less offerings, because we got extremely bloated. If I could go back and do it like again, I would be like one industry and one like really freaking specific thing. For example, right now, if I could have reconstructed everything like 2-3 years ago, I would be legal marketing with a focus on only getting you on the maps. That's it.
Yeah, that's just local SEO.
That's it.
So take that. That's really good advice, guys, if you're out there listening. So don't be too broad. Just never do that.
I mean,
just start.
I'm like not exaggerating.
It's sort of like anyone that's ever talked to anyone that started a brewery, they'll always give you the exact same advice, and it's make as small batch as humanly possible and sell that. And then
you gotta
only grow when like you have to grow, basically.
I know that seems counterintuitive if you think you're good at SEO and paid and social, and I know it's gonna hurt and it might feel weird.
It's so much more cheap. It's so much cheaper and more efficient
in the long run.
Just do a particular thing.
Yeah, you just have to like really hone in.
Yeah. So, but anyways, yeah, we appreciate all our listeners out there. Our podcast has grown quite a bit, but we'd love to hear from you guys. You can reach out to us at seoisdeadandotherlies@gmail.com. We have our website that's about to launch with a bunch of cool features on it. And then be sure to like us on iTunes or subscribe to through Podbean or iTunes or whatever thing that you use. We'd love to hear from you. So if you want to be on, let us know.
It's going to have a whole gallery. Half the gallery is going to be you when you're in your frat days, and half when I was my band days.
Those are I love those. That's great.
Our heyday. Yep.
So, but anyways, thanks for listening again, guys. And I'm Paul Warren.
And I'm Ryan Klein.
And this has been SEO is Dead and Other Lies.
Like, what's this podcast called
again?
I
forgot. Anyways.
Bye.
All right. Bye.